All right, shalom, shalom. First off, give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Karkadash, giving double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in truth and sincerity, all the men and the women who follow. This is the brother Kratazah from the GMS Nebraska camp, coming back at you with another lesson to the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. This lesson being entitled the devil is as the devil does. So, looking at this picture from 2021 of Rafah, which is a city in Palestine, you can see that it was a thriving community. We had businesses, had housing. You know, they were thriving. Okay, but now when you look at the same place, you can see one, two, and three rows, and this is that same one, two, and that third row. All right, just completely obliterated. You know, this is the devil at his finest. All right, so that's why I said the devil is as the devil does. So let me get a scripture first because when I seen this, it kind of reminded me of the scripture. Now, this isn't a one-to-one. I'm not saying that this is the fulfillment of the scripture, but this is what it put me in the mindset of Isaiah 6:11. It says, "Then I said, How long, Lord? And he answered me, Until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate." Which this is talking about America being utterly destroyed with thermonuclear fire. All right, when the nukes, totally obliterate America and take this place out. All right, but just looking at this picture, this is what it's speaking about. Anybody living in here, this is a desolate place at this point. You know, but Esau, the devil is the devil does. He's not going to allow it to stay desolate. So let's get this article. This article is from ABC News, April 12th, 2025. It says Israel takes control of Rafah, creating new security corridor in Gaza. All right, it says Israel announced Saturday that its military has completed the establishment of a new security corridor in the Gaza Strip, effectively taking full control over the southern city of Rafah, which Israel had ordered evacuated, and cutting it off from the rest of the Palestinian territory. The IDF now has completed the takeover of the Morag axis that crosses Gaza between Rafah and Khan Yunis and makes the entire area between the Philadelphia axis and the Morag part of the Israeli security zone. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said in a statement the IDF activity will soon expand strongly into additional locations throughout most of Gaza, and you'll have to evacuate the fighting zones. Over 1,500 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since the end of the ceasefire on March 18th. A total nearly 51,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since October 7th of 2023. Right, so basically they're expanding and they're annexing these areas because they're going to rebuild these areas back up for them. All right, let me see. Bear with me here. Let me see. All right, so from PBS News, it says Israel cuts off Rafah in the southern of Gaza, vowing to vigorously expand control of the territory. So they're going to take control of the territory. All right, they're going to make sure that there's no Palestinians in it. And eventually they're going to start rebuilding these places for their liking, for their benefit. All right, so let's get a couple of scriptures. First one being Habakkuk 2 and 12, it says, "Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity." All right, now we use this scripture, speaking about America and how the so-called white man came over and took the land from Gad and Reuben, and the rest of the 10 tribes who were over here. But this is also, it didn't just happen in America. It happened in Africa. It happened in Israel. It happened in Europe. All right, it happened in Asia. All right, it happened in India. It happened in the Philippines and the Spice Islands. It happened in Australia. It happened all over the world. Right. So, matter of fact, let's back that up. Habakkuk 2 and 5, it says, "Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine," right? His doctrine, so to speak, the so-called white man plays by his own set of rules, says he's a proud man, neither keepeth at home. That's why, as the British, they went all over the world and conquered. All right, as the Romans, they went all over the world and conquered. As the Greeks, they went all over the world and conquered. It's just, that's what's in them. All right, he says, "Who enlarges his desire as hell and is as death and cannot be satisfied." So he enlarges his desires as hell. Imagine that's like when you look at the kingdom of Alexander the Great. This is Alexander the Great is from right here. Okay, from right in this area, this pink area right here. This is at enlarging your desires as hell. All right, and not keeping at home. He took all of this land. All right, and is as death, because a lot of people died in the wake of him taking over all these places, and a lot of people died in the wake of taking over this place. Same here in America. Same story, different song. Same story, different day. However you want to say it. You know. It says right. It says he cannot be satisfied. The so-called white man will never be satisfied. If possible, he would have the New World Order set up all over the world, and he still will want more. It says, "But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people." Right. So he wants to be in control. Okay, he has a control disorder. All right, the so-called white man wants to be, king of the earth, king of existence. He wants to be God. He has a control complex. All right, this is Malachi 4:1. It says, "Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever." All right, so this is what the border of wickedness would do. All right, that's why we call him the devil. That's why we call them the wicked. Well, excuse me, the scriptures call them the wicked. Because you have the sons of men, which are the Israelites, you have the sons of the wicked, which are the Edomites, and the sons of God, which are Israelites, the sons of men, which are the other nations, and the sons of the wicked, which are Edomites. Okay? This is why the Lord will have indignation forever. Because they did pursue their brother with the sword. All right, they've been a thorn in our side, since the womb. All right, we'll get this and end it with this. This is Matthew 24 and 22. I'll start at 21. It says, "For then shall great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world, to this time, no, nor ever shall be. All right, speaking about Jacob's trouble coming. All right, it says, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days should be shortened. Right, so there would be no flesh saved. Everyone would fucking die under this devil if we just gave him carte blanche over the world. All right, if Yahweh Shem Shai didn't come to intervene, all right, to deliver his people, all right, to put down the wicked, then this would be the whole world, and then Esau would rebuild it in his image. All right. So Lord's word is edifying, and with that being said, we give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakadash, giving double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in truth and sincerity of the men and women who follow. Shalom.